So let's talk portals. Obviously, portals are like the main gimmick of Splitgate, and there's a lot of ways to use portals to aid yourself in the combat in this game. So I wanted to talk about a lot of the various different ways you can use portals to your advantage to get the upper hand on the enemy and such. And to be clear, this is probably not going to cover every single way you can use the portal because I'm not good enough to know them all. This is just the stuff that I've found from my time playing the game. So the first application for portals is the most obvious one, which is just to get around the map. You put a portal over there, portal right next to you, go through, now you just traveled a long distance in an instant. Very nice if you need to get somewhere in a hurry, like a hill or an enemy that you know where they are, that kind of thing. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that if you go from a wall to a ceiling or floor, it's very disorienting once you come out of the portal, so make sure you're ready to get your bearings once you've gone through. And just like in Portal, when you go through, your momentum will be preserved, so if you fall from a great height into a portal, you'll get launched out of the other side. Another good way to get around quickly, and you can use your jetpack to keep your momentum going a bit. A little hard to make useful because you have to do a lot of setup for it, but it has applications here and there. Another thing I want to mention is that if you are using portals to get around, make sure you're prepared for whatever is going to be on the other side. Unlike just walking around, you're not going to have any idea what your surroundings are like once you go through the portal. And if you're not prepared, you can get killed like that. Always expect that there's a chance that there's going to be enemies at the other side of your portal when you go through, and try to be ready for that. Like that. Because checking your surroundings is so important when going through a portal, you'll see in my footage that a lot of the time when I go through portals, I fling my camera all around the place to get a look at my surroundings and make sure I'm okay. And this will lead us into the second application for portals, which is escaping from danger. This is also, I think, a pretty easy concept to understand. You start taking some hits, you're low on health, just put a portal right next to you and go through. Of course, this is going to require you already have the other portals set up somewhere, ideally in a safe place, but if you do, then you're golden. Because of this, I think it's a good idea to always at least have one portal out somewhere on the map, so you always have an emergency escape option if you need it. You can also use these little hidey holes to recollect yourself and reload all your weapons before getting back out in the fray. But very important, for some reason the game does not have a default binding, but you can close your two portals if you set it, and you absolutely should set a binding for that, because if you don't, then if you go through your portal to escape from danger, nothing stops enemies from following in after you. But if you close your portal behind you, look at that. Look at how good that is. So you definitely want to set buttons for that. By the way, if you couldn't tell, whenever my character closes his left fist like that, that's me closing a portal. Ideally, it's probably smart to close the portal that you went into, not the one you came out of, because if there are enemies that are trying to shoot at you, then if you just leave the portal there, they're probably going to destroy it, and then you'll have no portals. Personally, I find it very hard to track which portal is which in terms of which one to close, but I'm sure that better players can figure out how to do that. Using portals just to get around and escape from danger and closing them behind you can be extremely effective in oddball-type modes, where you can just run around the map all over the place and be a really hard target to follow. At least until you kill yourself because you weren't paying attention to where you were portaling into. Now, here's a big thing to keep an eye out for when you're trying to escape into a portal is do not get stuck on the portal. You have no idea how many times I've been killed by just being unable to frickin' walk through the goddamn portal. I'm just bumping up against the wall and then you just get killed. If you end up putting your portal just slightly above the ground, then you're gonna get caught, you're gonna have to jump into it, you're gonna lose all your momentum, and it's just a mess. My recommendation is if you're gonna go through a portal and it's not properly aligned for you, just redeploy it. It'll just make a new one and you can go through easier. Save yourself the headache. Side note, but check out this sweet team kill that I got. I mean, it's not really that cool. They were kind of all just standing there and not shooting me. But I still killed the whole team. That counts for something. You gotta be careful, though, about going into your portal to escape from danger, because in certain circumstances, that might be a very predictable move, and then your opponents can do stuff like that. But okay, now let's talk about killing people. I find the best application for using portals in combat is to get at enemies from a different angle where you can catch them off guard. This is very effective against enemies who have taken damage and are hiding behind cover. You can just come from a different angle and get them from behind. But you can also sometimes manage to do it just in the middle of a gunfight where the enemy is still going to be looking at the direction that you were in before you went from your portal, so you can kind of distract them with yourself. It's a little weird sounding, but, you know, portals. Unless your enemy is really sharp, then he's probably going to keep looking in the direction you were in, so it gives you an easy opportunity to catch him by surprise. In the right circumstances, this can yield very powerful results, because you're basically coming up from behind dudes when you were in front of them previously. Hey, what's up? Here's what it looks like on the other end, though. I start shooting at this guy, he disappears, and I get killed from behind. As you can see, very difficult to deal with. Because this is such an effective way of using portals to fight, it's important to be aware of your surroundings and know if there are portable surfaces near you. Take this clip here. You see that portal surface? It's there behind me. I get in this gunfight here, and I'm not even thinking about it, and dudes start shooting me through the portal. If you are really on the ball and you can kind of predict that an enemy is going to come through a portal, you can get the drop on them before they come through and actually manage to kill them, but it's pretty hard to do. You can hear portals around you, though, so really pay attention to the sound, and if you suddenly hear a portal very close to you, probably means an enemy's going to come through, so just gotta pay attention and really be on point. If you can do it, then you can make life an absolute hell for the guy coming through the portal. Like that. You definitely don't want to be trying to surprise attack a guy when he knows where you're coming from and where you're gonna be. That's just running into his bullets at that point. So a good thing to try to do is try to put the portal that you're going to come out of second. Because if you put it first, that's going to give your enemy more time to react to the fact that the portal is there. If you put the portal you're going to go through first next to you, and then the portal you're going to come out of, then that gives them less time to react, more time for you to get the drop on them. You can also kind of fake people out a little bit. I didn't even intend to do it in this situation. I actually was planning to go through this portal, but I decided not to in the end, and you can see the guy standing there shooting into the portal, just making himself an easy target. So that's a pretty cool option if you do notice that your enemies are pretty quick to react to portals. Also, very important to keep your understanding of the 3D space when you look through your portals. Take this situation here where I have my two portals lined up like that. There's a guy all the way down over there, which means he's right here. And of course, you don't have to actually go through the portal yourself. You can just put it out there and start shooting through it, but do be careful, there is danger in that, because when you're firing into your portal, you're usually going to be standing right in front of it to get the widest look through it as you can. But because of that, your hitbox is basically taking up the entire portal, so enemies can just blindly fire into your portal, and they're probably going to hit you. So if you start taking fire from an enemy portal, you can start dodging bullets, but that guy is kind of locked in place there, and you can just keep firing right into his portal. Check out this clip right here. A dude shooting me through my and his portals. That's just neat. Nice one, dude. In addition to firing into enemy portals, you do always have the option, if you're feeling risky, to go through the enemy portal. This can obviously be very dangerous because you can't see into enemy portals, but you can also catch people by surprise by doing stuff like this. Sometimes it might pay off, but of course, you don't know where you're going, so you don't know if you're going to be teleporting yourself right into danger. The key thing to pay attention to, along with hearing the sound of a portal appear next to you, is watching for those orange portal lasers that appear when enemies shoot them. If you see one go by near you, you can probably be certain that there's about to be bullets coming through a portal somewhere near you. So unless you want to get killed like that, you're going to have to do something about it. Now, of course, the most obvious option would be to just destroy a portal, and you especially want to destroy portals if they're colored. If a portal is gray on the inside, that means that it's not connected to something on the other end, but once it lights up, you know that there's someone probably looking through it, so you definitely want to destroy it the moment you see that. And for the love of God, please do destroy enemy portals. Don't just leave them there like my teammates are right next to this hill, because now I have to do it, and a guy comes through, and then it's just a whole big, ugh. Please destroy enemy portals. Another use for portals that I've found is to use them to scope out an area. Just keep an eye on one portion of the map, and if you happen to see anybody there, take them out. This lets you keep your attention in more than one area at once. You can patrol the map while looking around, but also check back at your portal every now and then and see if you just happen to find anybody. This is particularly excellent for King of the Hill style modes, where you can put your portal out of the way looking at the point from an unexpected angle, and from a distance you can just take out enemies and clear the point for your teammates to take. Very helpful. Just try not to overdo it. If you stay in one place for too long, people are going to eventually notice and they're going to come after you. Within reason, you can hang out, but, you know, stay on the move to a degree. One last thing that I want to point out that I haven't really gotten the opportunity to make good use of yet, but I think there's application there, is I've noticed that you cannot put down portals if there are already enemy portals there. So first you have to destroy the portal in order to put one there yourself. So what you could do with that, in theory, and what I was trying to do in this clip, but didn't really end up being relevant, is you can put your portals behind you on a surface, so that way if an enemy wants to put a portal behind you to sneak up on you, they're going to have to destroy your portals first. That'll give you some extra notification that someone's going to try to do that, but it also means people at extremely long ranges can't just suddenly appear right behind you. I haven't managed to make it work yet, but I think you can see how this could have some application. So there you have it. There's all the portaling tech that I've discovered in this game so far. There is one more thing that's a bit of a theoretical for me right now that I want to try out at some point. If you shoot a rocket through your portals when you have them lined up and you get out of the way, then it should just continuously keep going through the portals over and over, right? And then later, if you get into a gunfight, you can put a portal next to a guy and your rocket will come through and kill him. Right? That should work, right? I gotta do some more testing and see if I can make that happen. Until then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.